Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I know we're a minute early. It's 9:14, about to hit 9:15 any second. Welcome back to Wxcenter Live. We're looking, unfortunately, right at a Barbuda landfall. So worst case scenario for the island of Barbuda has taken place. It did jog to the west ever so slightly as it made its way past Antigua. And unfortunately, we're seeing it making a direct hit right into Barbuda. They're getting the worst of the eye wall right now. So if I have anyone tuning in, are they able, or if they're able to tune in to this live stream right now? I really want to get some information out there from Barbuda if we can. If there's anybody able to tune in right now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I also want to get started with this stream by making a random announcement. It's not pertaining to the weather. I'm not too sure what's going on. We've had a lot of people in the live streams over the last 24 hours, and I think YouTube is, I guess, getting privy of it, and they're actually moderating the number of subscribers that I can take on. I'm not trying to make it sound like, I'm gloating, I'm getting all these subscribers, all you guys are tuning in, but unfortunately, I've been watching over the last couple of hours now, and I have a lot of you tuning in and a lot of you guys subscribing. And, unless somebody can chime in and explain what's going on, I'll see everyone turning their notifications on. I'll get notification of that. I'll get notification of the new subs, all the wonderful comments from you guys. And then all of a sudden, in the matter of 60 seconds, I'll lose 100 subscribers. And, I know this is a weird way to start the live stream off. I know we're looking at, Hurricane Tammy and whatnot, but I just find it very bizarre. And I would like to believe that all you amazing people tuning in for these lives, you're not suddenly unsubscribing as soon as the live stream goes off. It almost seems like some weird coordinated effort or some kind of a YouTube audit, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they think that all the subscribers I'm getting are bots or spam, which is very disappointing, to tell you the truth, because we were about to hit a milestone earlier, and we should be well inside of a channel milestone now, but YouTube has removed at least 300 of my subscribers. Not even joking. Glad to hear that Antigua is still quiet. Yeah, you guys are not really seeing anything from this hurricane right now. Unfortunately, Barbuda is in the eye wall as we speak. The eye wall is right over top of them as we speak right now. The satellites show one thing, but in reality, there's things are not as the satellite shows. That's YouTube. The middle of Antigua has been calm all day. That's very good. I'm glad. But, yeah, guys, so for those of you who've been watching, we're already up to 100 some odd viewers right now. It sounds very weird, and I honestly, it's a struggle to ask this right now. But, if you could, check your subscription to me. Check and see if you are subscribed to my page, because I'm not even joking. I've had a lot of amazing people tune in to this live. You guys have been very engaging, a wonderful audience, and I've been seeing that you guys are subscribing and liking the video, and it means so much. And then all of a sudden, it's like 100 some odd people will suddenly all message each other, all call out to each other, and hit the unsubscribe button all at once, and I just find it very weird. I find it very weird. Yes, Dark Earth, I agree. Love to Barbuda right now. They're in the worst of it. They literally are. I don't know if we're going to get anybody tuning in from Barbuda. It would be amazing to get at least one liaison out of there. But Barbados is no longer too cloudy. We are calm here in Nazario. Very good. That's awesome news. If we zoom out, you can see Barbados is in the clear. You have some very residual light shower activity for Trinidad and Tobago right now, but St. Vincent and the Grenadines further down to the south looks pretty clear. Diva Jefferson, very good, very good. I'm sure a lot of my regular folks are still on here. I'm definitely positive that a lot of you guys who are always routinely in the streams and always active on this channel are still there. It's very disappointing, guys. It really is, because I work very hard for the content that I put out, and I know it's all for just weather purposes and enthusiasts for who enjoy talking about weather and analyzing it. But at the same time, it's like, come on. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, YouTube? Carmen, my channel. I don't know what's going on, but it's all of a sudden like it's getting the hammer brought down to it. Not even kidding. I've lost at least 300 plus subscribers. And like I said, I don't believe it's people unsubscribing, because if there were that many people unsubbing, I've seen it before. You'd get all the negative comments and all that stuff. So I don't know. But right now, guys, we got to stay strong. And that's why I'm jumping on here when I am, because the eye is moving right over top Barbuda right now. 85-mile-an-hour hurricane. And if you switch over to the winds, you can see that they're getting all that eye wall stuff as we speak. This is a little earlier. There you have it right there, moving right over top the island. So 90% of the islands managed to dodge this bullet. And unfortunately, it looks like, of all places, Barbuda is getting the hammer brought down on them again. I think I saw somebody, electricity is off. That makes sense, unfortunately. Definitely makes sense. Having the issues, it's YouTube. Yeah, you know, I don't understand what's going on, but it's very bizarre. Peter119, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the weird activity that YouTube's providing us, because I have all these folks subscribing, and it's not about the number. It's not about the subscriber number itself for my channel. It's the fact that all these people are trying to tune in for these live streams, and they're being forcibly removed, which means that they're either missing critical information or they're just completely being blitzoed by the YouTube algorithm or whatever you want to call it. So I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. But all right, Peter119 said it. I'll go ahead and stop talking about myself, and we'll get into this, because I know that's what you guys are all about. I just wanted to make sure to send that disclaimer out that, you know, if you guys were unsubscribed from my channel for some strange reason, just take a look, because YouTube's been doing that. Those are the types of comments that I would believe would probably be lighting up the comment section as people if all the people were unsubscribing and whatnot. But anyways, guys, so we've managed to luck out across the board with this hurricane. We've had 90% of the Lesser Antilles dodge this bullet pretty much to its entirety. You can see we're finally starting to see that banding activity coming up from the south. But it's playing a game called Controlled Demolition. It's a shame. Hi, is Guadalupe going to get banded, or are we dodging it again? No, we've got bands coming in from the south right now. We were just going to get into talking about that. Let's go back to radar, and you can see that a lot of that stuff is moving in right now. So Dominica and Martinique are definitely seeing the feeder bands, and it looks like they've been training over that area since we last were on the stream. Guadalupe, you're up next. It's just to your south, just to your immediate south. And you can see it. It looks like, unfortunately, yeah, we have a lot of training going on in this quadrant, because we were on live stream about 3 to 4 hours ago. Yeah, about 4 hours ago, and they were already starting to see activity in Dominica and Martinique. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's let up at all. So now we're starting to see the flooding conditions potentially work their way in. It's the backside of the storm once again, unfortunately. Not going anywhere. Weather's always changing. It is always changing. And Antigua, Barbuda, update 8:30 p.m. Tammy, causing hurricane conditions across Barbuda. That makes sense. Max sustained 2-minute winds are near 63 knots. That makes sense. Yep, there it is. That's definitely it. That's definitely it. So unfortunately, Barbuda is taking that direct hit. If you go back to or actually we could go back in time on this radar here. Let's go ahead and let's try to play it out. You can see, well, it doesn't go far enough in time, but you can see that eye wall is making a direct approach. So we're going to stay in the live stream tonight and just kind of hope for the best. Hope that somebody can maybe tune in, or somebody can send somebody a message update or something, because they're definitely seeing the brunt of it. That's good that they're only at 63, 65 knots, 70 miles an hour. They're not seeing the maximum wind intensity that was projected by some of our models, upwards of 100 plus. So Sailing, Catch, and Race 2, don't worry about talking about your channel and your subs. It takes time out of your day to do these updates, and those Kato want to keep your channel, keep growing. Yeah, you know, I mean, and forgive me if it sounds, I don't know how to describe it. I know I don't sound, at least I hope, I don't sound, you know, conceited or cocky or arrogant. It's discouraging, you know, because, I mean, I'm coming in here chatting with everybody, and I know that when you guys hit subscribe, it's because you're putting your trust in me, and you enjoy the content that I'm putting out for you guys. I enjoy connecting with all you guys, and it's a bummer to either see that, you know, all of a sudden hundreds of people are disapproving of what we're talking about, or YouTube is forcibly removing them. It's like unnecessary moderation. And again, it's not about the number. I have my own personal goals. I mean, naturally, yeah, I'm not going to air them out for the chat, but it's also discouraging. We're meeting a lot of new people in the live streams, and I love these live streams. You can ask any regular viewer of mine. I love the live streams. We always have a good time in here, and it would be a huge disappointment to think that Big Brother YouTube is like smothering that. That shouldn't be how it works at all. I didn't even know that was a possibility, but I did some research in between the live stream then and this one now, and I figured I'd go ahead and put that disclaimer out to at least check your subscriptions, whoever tunes in here, and just double check that you weren't removed, because my channel's been on the fritz. I don't understand. I think it really is YouTube thinks I'm buying subscriptions or something like that, and they think you guys are bots because you're all brand spanking new to the page, and that's such a shame. That's annoying. But yeah, so Guadalupe, you guys are up next. You have that feeder band region, and I'm saying it's a region now, and this is why, if you guys were here earlier, this is why I wanted us to focus on where the eye went first, because now, unfortunately, Barbuda is definitely hitting hard. But at the same time, look at how much these feeder bands have changed. Earlier, we were looking at very, very thin bands of isolated thunderstorm activity, and now they're looking like they're trying to form up into one large swath. In fact, it looks like a lot of that eastern extent precip we saw has wrapped around the southern base of it and is now looking a lot more elongated, more southwest to northeast, which is not good. That's that flooding condition that we were talking about. This is where we could probably see our inundation and our rain accumulation rates really start to go through the roof as we go overnight tonight. And yeah, Ethan, I saw your comment. We're almost through it. It looks like Barbuda is almost through it. They're taking it like a champ right now, but they're going to get through it. They'll definitely get through it. I'm watching it rolling overhead right now. This is live radar. How fast are the winds there in the wall? Eye wall, I mean, we have 85 mile an hour sustained winds. So it's definitely possible to be seeing anywhere between 85 sustained. I would honestly argue that they're more consistently probably seeing 75 sustained. Someone dropped an observation in here, and I believe that's right about where we are in that eye wall right now. I've noticed that the max sustained winds are a reading of what the maximum intensity was analyzed in the storm. Typically, they level off just a little bit. Sailing, catch, and raise. There it is. See, sailing, catch, and raise. Guys, that's what I'm talking about. I don't get it. Didn't even think to check my subscription, but yes, I was removed as a subscriber. I don't understand. That's not fair. And I'm not saying that like for me, it's not fair for you guys. Thank you for coming back, sailing, catch, and raise. I appreciate you still tuning in. What are the 3 islands that will get hammered? Well, not the 3. Right now, it's just the 1. Barbuda is getting nailed right now. They're getting hit. Excuse me, they're underneath the wrath of Tammy right now. The one place, unfortunately, that just wasn't spared. And I know Tropical Storm Philippe went right overhead of that location as well. Diva Jefferson, Twitter and X did a similar thing. It's not, I don't even know how that's possible. Like, how do they pick and choose who to, quote, audit? It's very bizarre. I don't know, like, how they scan through all the different pages and whatnot. So, yeah, if you're watching this down the road and you're not able to tune in right now, go ahead and, I mean, again, I feel weird having to say this. This isn't about like, comment, subscribe, but if you do find yourself removed, it would mean a lot if you did resubscribe. It would. I'm not going to lie to you. Because I'd like to do this full time someday for you guys. I love doing it. I love talking to everybody. I love this network that we're building. And, right now it's not feasible to do it full time. And the more of you guys jumping on the train and helping out with supporting the channel, the easier it will be. People are dangerous. There's probably someone who looked at you as competition caused the subscriber error. You know what? Beautifully aged, you're not far off. You're not far off. I've had conversations behind the scenes about stuff like that. I subscribe because your forecast, I'm getting a lot of chat. Subscribe because your forecast is the most accurate and informative I've seen on the internet so far. Interact, Deadly Tours. Thank you. Thank you very kindly for that. Thank you so much. I had to, wow, so there's a lot of us in here that have had to subscribe again. Helena, you've been in here a few times too. I'm surprised. Daniel, I'm surprised you were removed. You're always in here. Very good report. Rosetta, thank you very much. What is it looking like for St. Martin? Janella, you guys are looking good. You guys are definitely looking good. I really want to see what this storm looks like when it emerges to the north of Barbuda. I want to see if this westward track, because that's what happened. We'll go over to that fast-moving radar. I know this one isn't as ideal, but if you watch, we'll zoom out a little bit. if you watch what happened, unfortunately, we called it on the last live stream. You see it tracking up, and then it decides to move west sharply. Look at that. It took a very sharp turn just as it passed Antigua. And now I'm beginning to wonder if we need to start watching out there closer to Anguilla. Because if this thing continues to angle, we're definitely going to have to start monitoring up in Anguilla. I'm not calling for a direct hit, but if it does continue to try to move and angle itself further to more of a west-northwest orientation versus to the north, that could be a little concerning. So we definitely want to keep a close eye on this now. This kind of changes things, and we're readjusting as we go. What the heck is this? So let's see. So yeah, here is Anguilla right up and through this area. It would have to move at a very sharp angle to get up into you guys. It really would. It would have to continue to move at a very sharp angle. But, I mean, it's already trying to do so. As long as it doesn't continue to bend, we should be okay. I know some of the high-res models were indicating that we could see a bit of a westward fetch with this storm, and I'm afraid this might be taking place now. I really wish... Let me go ahead. No, that's... Can I go back 6 hours? Will it let me? Nope. I'm not premium. Not premium. So here's Anguilla. We're watching for you guys. It's going to be a close call. We'll definitely have to monitor out there for you guys. U.S., British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, I'm definitely not thinking it's going to truck west like this. So don't start worrying out there. Please don't start stressing. These things happen. These things definitely happen. Some guy still subscribed. I wasn't removed. Ryan Gittins, yeah, you had to subscribe again. What a bummer. That's so weird. It's like it doesn't even understand who it's picking and choosing to do that. Because now I'm afraid it's going to go back through and do it all over again. I don't know. I feel like it's 50-50 shots showing what the models are showing in the westward movement. Are you guys talking about moving off to the west and towards Florida and all that? Because we have all of our 18Z data in right now. I think there could be a system forming above French Guiana. I have no idea if I'm just reading the map wrong, but the wind is curving a bit in that area. Hope it makes nothing. Let's go ahead and take a look at that here in a second. We'll go ahead and look at that in a moment. I mean, right now, there's really not a whole lot we can do for Barbuda. I'm watching the chat closely because I really hope that somebody can somehow make it in and give us a little bit of an update on what's happening out there. Let's go over to the satellite imagery real quick. We'll go to... So yeah, there's our really robust tropical wave out there. It looks like that NHC highlighted system has really dissipated, lost a lot of activity with it. We have a very active ITCZ still out there over the 10-degree latitude line. This is the one we want to watch later down the road. That's the one that could work its way into the Caribbean in the same general area as Tammy is right now, really helping to re-elevate your thunderstorm risk. And dang, what a shame. I'm looking at this satellite. Let's zoom in a little bit more on Tammy because I'm seeing that southern flank. Like we were talking about earlier, guys, it's lighting up. All that convergent wind flow to the south of this storm is creating a lot of nocturnal thunderstorms. So you can see our hurricane is still up to the north here, but all this convergent wind flow, we have what looks to be another little outflow boundary and a shear boundary or a line of shear helping to really force those thunderstorms to start training as it moves to the north. What a shame. That's exactly what happened with Philippe. Exactly what happened with Philippe. I think the unsubscribing issue is a technical issue with YouTube. I hope so. If it stalls out north of PR, we could get plenty of rain from it. It depends on where it stalls, because if you look, we have this frontal system just to the north of it that's going to help to try to pull some of the moisture up alongside that frontal system. That's what's helping to kind of negotiate it up to the north and northwest. So if it does park itself to the immediate north of Puerto Rico, then yeah, you guys can definitely see some increased rain, that's for sure. But a lot of our models think it's going to hover somewhere around that 25-degree north latitude line, so it'll be well to your north. You might see some increased thunderstorm activity, more so because of the daytime convection. If you see, we had that happening earlier today, especially over the higher terrain out there in Puerto Rico. It's kind of a wait-and-see game right now, but even on this satellite image, you can kind of tell that there was definitely a westward shift all of a sudden. definitely a westward shift. It was moving more north, and then you could see that clear jog to the left right into Barbuda, and they're getting the hammer brought down on them right now. Let's get a bit more of a closer look. You can see some of those really cold cloud tops really going off on them, and it's such a shame. Such a shame. This was literally our worst nightmare for any of these islands, and that's why we've been watching that center of circulation so closely, and they're getting inundated right now. Right now. They're seeing the worst of the storm because, unfortunately, those thunderstorms coupled with just the fact that of the matter that you're in the core is going to amp up conditions. Like, the feeder bands could provide you guys with tropical storm conditions wherever you are in close proximity to this storm, but the fact that we have the core, the eye itself, the eye wall working its way over that island, you have such robust convective activity firing around it, you know, that's just a recipe for disaster. We got to hope for the best for those guys. This is why I've been doing the lives so frequently. We had a lot of good luck with the majority of our Lesser Antilles, and it ran out again for Barbuda. Looking at the satellite shot here, guys, honestly, Anguilla, I wouldn't stress too much. It doesn't seem like it's taking an angular, or it doesn't seem like it's taking on an angle of attack and moving more and more to the west. It looks like it just kind of bumped. And unfortunately, that bump, like we were discussing earlier this afternoon, it was catastrophic because it didn't take much. All it took was the hairline of a difference. I know a lot of us were watching earlier, and it only takes that slight jog because of how close of a pass it was going to make to that island to begin with. We dodged all the bullets from Martinique, Dominica, further north, all the way up. Even St. Lucia saw a lot of that activity wandered to the north. But there you have it. You can see a clear eye wall right on top of them, I can't pause it, but that eye wall, you can see it right there. Strongest core of the activity right there over top of them. I know this is an old radar loop. They have strong winds, objects flying and all. The rain is heavy too. That's like 20 minutes ago. Yeah, that makes sense. Are there any lives tomorrow, Malachi? I'm not sure. We'll see. Tomorrow is usually my hiatus from the weather community. I usually take Sundays off, no videos, no live streams, especially with the 3 live streams we've done today. It's really going to depend. Unfortunately, if there are big things to talk about, you'll see a live from me. A lot of my recurring viewers, they typically see when there's a live stream scheduled out of the blue that isn't supposed to be happening, they know that something big's happening and I need to communicate with you guys. I think Tammy will only peak at 105 miles an hour. It's very reasonable. That's a very reasonable assessment, I would think. Let's see what some of our intensity models look like. We've been so fixated on where we're at currently with this storm. We haven't taken a look at what our models are thinking. So yeah, I mean, there you have it. Looking at a solid Cat 1 is the majority or the consensus, and then it's just going to continue to weaken down. And honestly, by the time it makes any kind of approach to Bermuda, or even Florida for that matter, we're going to be well into this ballpark 4 to 5 days out. So, I mean, some of the models do want it to keep high-end tropical storm and, low-end hurricane intensity as it moves along. We only have a couple of them. The Icon does weaken it to a very low-grade tropical storm, so does the H-Mon, the Avni, the IVCN. So, I mean, if it does move west, we'll definitely have to watch. We'll definitely have to see what happens, because I know 18 Zulu GFS, I don't trust the 18Z GFS very much. The 18Z and the 6Z are probably like your worst bets in terms of looking at the GFS, but you go down the line and you can see it moving to the north, and then there you have it. Look at that. Believe it or not, GFS is, we can say it, whatchamacallit, Florida landfall. Now, again, very, very, very tiny grain of salt. I don't think that this is what's going to play out. The 18 and the 6Z GFS, they're cold model runs, no fresh analysis data. They're all continuity-based, which means they're essentially picking up where the 12Z data or the 0Z data left off. But you know what? The trend has been in that general direction. I was looking at it earlier before the live stream, guys, and I trust the ensembles with the GFS a lot more than the actual GFS model, because the ensembles have a human element to them. The scientists in charge of running the global forecast system, the GFS, or any ensemble product for that matter, the ensemble members can get tweaked and adjusted by the folks who are in there, the technicians running the models. So they're definitely a little bit more accurate. Can I get a shout out to my cousin Faith Mason and her new husband, Joe Mason? They got married today. Jonathan, wow, yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to Faith and Joe Mason. Congratulations on your brand spanking new marriage. That's outstanding news. A little bit of good news amidst all this stuff going on right now. Mike Cassidy, good night. I'm off to bed. Haven't really slept since Friday when the storm was going to hit. Mike, absolutely, yeah. Take advantage. Don't sweat it. Greetings from Puerto Rico. HP Nana, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Dominica, fall of rain all now. Do you mean that it's full of rain, Mark Black? Are you saying it's full of rain? Jason Millington, Antigua, still quiet as a mouse, somehow hardly a leaf on a tree moving where I am, a drop of rain. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, the core of this storm is so small, and that was the problem with Barbuda we were discussing throughout the day today. If this thing decides to bump even just a subtle shift to the west, that's game over for them, and unfortunately, we're in the middle of that right now. It's game over, and we're just waiting to see exactly what the full extent of the situation is like. Rodo from Antigua, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. I'm very glad that Antigua and Guadeloupe definitely got off the hook, though, because I know that earlier in today's forecasting, National Hurricane Center had a direct hit for both of those locations and still kept Barbuda in the line of fire for the worst of the storm. So, I mean, we have two islands that were, like, saved, I guess you could say, and unfortunately, Barbuda has taken the brunt of it right now. They kind of took one for the team, if you will. But here we go, guys. Let's take a quick glance at this before you all start tuning out because we're not looking at Tammy. I know we want to focus on that, but just let's hear this out. Here are 18 Zulu GFS ensembles, and you look at that. Like, look at all that agreement, guys. We definitely have to watch this. We'll definitely have to watch this for sure because this is very anomalous. Very, very anomalous. I've never seen anything like this before. I've seen storms do loop-de-loops. I've seen storms stop and go backwards. Actually, no, I lied. That was this year. This year was the first time I've seen storms stop and then just throw it back in reverse. I've never seen that before. Rodo, it's not hitting Antigua. No, you guys are in the clear. You're going to see the feeder bands and the rotating wraparound moisture that could maybe dump some good rain on you, but in terms of an actual direct hit, no, not a direct hit. You guys are in the clear. Honestly, that tropical wave behind Tammy looks more threatening than Tammy to me. I agree. That's exactly what we've been talking about. Malachi, I saw your message. Tammy is moving at a decent click. We haven't really seen any major changes in her forward progress. She did pick up a little speed, it looked like, once she made that turn to the north. I believe we're still moving at about 9 miles an hour, somewhere in there. Let's go back to the most recent update from National Hurricane Center. 10 miles an hour, yeah. So we picked up just a little bit of forward progress. Good thing, not good enough. It's still going to be moving over, and it weakened a little bit, very slightly. I know we didn't see the winds change, but it did weaken just a little bit. We're back up to 989 millibars. I believe we were down. The deepest we saw was 987. Oh, there we go. We got another update, guys. So it's weakening slowly. It's not much, but it's weakening slowly. We're now up to 990 millibars. And there it is. Yep, has made landfall on the island of Barbuda. Maximum sustained winds are 85 miles an hour, 140 kilometers per hour, 990 millibars center of circulation. So, I mean, not a very aggressive hurricane, but enough to do some damage. So we got to just... I know it sounds very cheesy, guys, but we're in this live stream kind of trying to ride it out with Barbuda figuratively. Like right now, I want to know what's happening with them. I want to know what's happening with them, and I'm only thinking about what could possibly be going down for them right now. So that's another reason why we're here in the live stream. I want all of us in the chat, and those of you who aren't chatting with us, who are just in the live stream, please be sending as much positive energy and prayer to them right now because they're getting slammed. It's right on top of them. Literally right on top of them. What is in store for St. Martin? Not a whole lot. Once this storm can move up to the north, that's when you'll start seeing those feeder bands rotating back in and you'll see the rain start to dump down, but nothing too hellacious like we're seeing in Barbuda right now. Is Puerto Rico in the clear? Yeah, it's looking very favorable out there right now. We're going to have to watch the orientation of all this thunderstorm activity to the south because it looks like, once again, if we step through the satellite loop, look at this little embedded boundary. This is exactly textbook what we saw with Philippe. The core of the storm is here. Look at this outside boundary that's having the storms orient more west to east as opposed to north to south. Cher, are you in Barbuda? Do you have contact with someone in Barbuda? Are islands big enough to affect hurricanes in terms of strength at all? I know they don't like land. It depends. It definitely depends. For some of our lesser Antilles, they're all volcanic islands. So they do have very mountainous terrain. And tropical systems, they don't like land, but they don't like they don't like higher terrain even more so. It's kind of like if you imagine sandpaper grits. Let's say, for instance, this sounds very morbid. Or no, let's not go morbid with it. Let's say if you're trying to sand down a wall, for example, and you use 2,000, 3,000 grit sandpaper. It's very smooth. It's very fine. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage to the surface of the paint. It's more for buffing and polishing. If you take a 30 or a 60 grit sandpaper and rub it against it, you're going to damage it like crazy. You're going to really shave off a lot of the paint, a lot of the clear coat, and all that stuff. Same concept. You have the higher terrain features, the mountainous terrain feature. It's like very abrasive sandpaper to the low levels of these tropical systems. So, yeah, believe it or not, even these smaller island nations can definitely do a little bit of harm to the core of that storm because of the tall terrain features, the mountains out there. They're all volcanic islands, if I'm not mistaken. So you do have some higher terrain features that you don't see in, like, the southeast, especially Central Florida and all that. Hopefully it is the eye. Now, I will say, one thing we have going for us is she does not have a closed-off eye. She doesn't have a closed-off eye, guys, so we have one small little semblance of positivity we can pull out of this. If you look, the worst honestly should be just about over. Looking at this radar imagery as of right now, I'll pause it and go to the very end. There you go. It looks like the worst is going to be on its way. The worst is working its way off the northern apex of the island. Here is your eye wall core right there. You could argue that maybe this is a little bit of an extension back in through here, but there is the worst of the weather highlighted on the radar perfectly right there. So that's one thing. That's one positive thing about this is with a real significant hurricane, the backside sometimes tends to be a little worse once you get to the other end of the eye wall. In this case, we have half. It's like a half moon eye, if you will, or a half open eye. So the worst has moved through, which is a good thing. Cher, yes, keep us posted. I do believe at this point we're going to start to see things calm down. We don't have a fully closed-off eye, so it's not like it's going to calm down and then suddenly hit the fan again from the opposite direction. So that's a positive thing. You might still continue to see some elevated winds once you get out in that general area, but, you know, it's not like we're going to have another rerun of what they just went through. Barbados does not have volcanic stuff. We were limestone, just making correction. That's okay. I know that they're a volcanic chain out there. Some of them do. I've seen some higher rolling hills out there in Barbados. And that's what I mean, guys. Like, volcanic activity or anything aside, like any rolling hill, anything that's above the sea level, anything that's above Florida, for example, even 100, 200 feet high is going to create a little bit of low-level shear for these storms because they don't like land interaction as it is, and anything higher than what's at that standard mean sea level pressure of about 1,000 millibars is going to disrupt the internal flow of these things. So even just going over a little island like that, because it has such a small eye, the eye is only about yay big, and it's parked over top, it's technically lost a lot of that latent heat exchange. So, yeah, Barbuda could do a little bit of blister, or it could blister the storm just a little bit, and I think that's why things are calming down, thankfully. What if hurricanes never weakened over land? Then, Daniel, we'd be in trouble. We would definitely be in trouble. There would be a lot more catastrophic impacts. We'd have Cat 5s up the yin-yang. Might need to point out that not all lesser Antillean islands are mountainous volcanic. The inner ring, yes, but outer ring, no. Antigua has small pimple in southwest Barbuda. Yeah, I mean, I'm not dabbling into specifics, guys. We're not doing a full-on, analysis of the terrain. Regardless, it moving over a small sliver of land like this with a disorganized eye already, in layman's terms, is going to weaken it. But, I mean, again, good stuff, because I can openly admit, and I don't care if anybody out there rewatching this is going to judge me, I will admit I'm not extremely well-educated on this area of the world. So, honestly, working with you guys and talking about all this is excellent, because it's just bolstering my knowledge as well. Very good stuff. So, honestly, yeah, if you have constructive criticism for anything that I'm saying, throw it into the chat, and I'll make a mental note of it. Malachi, very good point. Limestone, just making a correction. Absolutely. I know that, like you were saying, Giles, the inner ring, I know that there are some volcanic islands out there. Exo Nation, another one. See, that's what we were talking about earlier in the stream. I'm not sure if you're just joining us, Exo Nation, but earlier today, after the couple of live streams, I had a lot of you guys subscribe to the channel, and all of a sudden, they were all wiped out. I'm almost afraid to check my subscriber count right now because I don't want to be audited again, which is a huge bummer. Maybe now, since it's going up a little bit slower, it's not going to be as bad, but it's just disappointing to have you guys join in and just forcibly removed by YouTube. All quiet in the southern part of the island. No rain, no wind. Just a really cool night. Eloise, where are you right now? Okay, why we're so dry, but you're great. Giles, no, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Because, I know a lot of the islands out there, they either have rolling hills or they have some mountainous terrain. And maybe that's a stereotype because a lot of people, when they think islands, they think the Hawaiian Islands or some of the other islands that a lot of cruise destinations go to that are more well-known, that have the rolling hills, the mountainous terrain. All I know about the Lesser Antilles is I've heard volcanic activity, volcanic-induced island chain, and I kind of just put two and two together. And I know I've received a little bit of video footage from Barbados, and I did see some higher hills, so that's kind of what I'm going off of. I'm going to go play Roblox. This is Daniel signing out. All right, Daniel, sounds good. And Nazario, is the tropical storm behind Tammy going to hit the Leeward Islands? Now, it's not a tropical storm. It's not classified, and it's not highlighted by National Hurricane Center. It's currently just a very aggressive tropical wave. But, yes, it looks like a lot of our model data, except, once again, the GFS, a lot of our models are thinking that that tropical wave is going to try to propagate through. Let's take a look at what the icon has. The icon is brand spanking new. Close this out. Icon. We have 18Z icon data in. Let's take a look at what that has for us. 10-meter wind. So here we are. There's Tammy getting up out of there. Now see, the icon has it just barely to the west or a little further to the west than where we are right now. And Anguilla still looks to stay on the eastern side of the storm. You shouldn't hopefully see too much impacts out there. And then there's our next tropical wave. You can honestly see it pretty clearly in the winds. Oh, wow, look at that. Wow. 18Z icon is doing something weird, guys. We got to keep an eye on this. It does weaken once it butts right up against that frontal system. You can see it become very elongated, and that low becomes very disorganized. But it looks like the trend with the icon is it's going to park itself just to the north of the Lesser Antilles and then skyrocket off to the west. We only get 120 hours worth of icon data, but just taking a look at how it stops, and then that westward shift right there at the very end. Tammy's gonna try, guys. I'm gonna say it, and I don't want to be called a hyper or whatever you want to say, but she's gonna try to make a run for Florida. It looks like she wants to try to do that. At least some of our models are indicating it. GFS, dare I say it, I'm gritting my teeth. The GFS is saying it. The icon is saying it. I never thought I would even broadcast that with this storm, but the icon definitely, you look at 12 Zulu, and it's there. Moving towards Florida. It's making a push. You look at 18Z, it's much further to the south. It stalls out, kind of like what the Euro was indicating earlier today, in fact, and it makes that sudden run to the west. And it lines up really well with what our GFS ensembles are showing as well. Let me go back to our GFS ensembles. Let's go model GFS. Let me clear my ink. Let me go Caribbean. Oh, no, wait, whoops. I want a different model. Let me go here, parameter. Go down to cyclone locations, GFS. Caribbean, and then watch this. This is 18Z, and look at that. Decent member agreement. So digital dentistry, if you're watching this, you've been asking on Instagram quite a bit, and I'm telling you now, buddy, I'm watching. I'm definitely watching, and you can see that the 18Z GFS definitely wants that next tropical wave that gets into the Caribbean to develop, or something to come out of the southern Caribbean. So needless to say, we have to keep these on our radar. We definitely have to keep this on our radar. I don't foresee, I think the GFS is a little bullish with bringing a Category 1 hurricane into the coast of Florida, but anything is possible. It's definitely possible. If those waves are going to move through the island, please tell me it's before Friday because it's Independence Day in St. Vincent on Friday. That's going to be a tough call. Let's go ahead and dig into that. Let's take a look a little bit more out there. Let's see. Do we have 18Z Euro data in yet? Is the 18Z Euro populating just yet? It is. Okay, so we have 18Z Euro data. Let's see what the Euro is thinking at 18Z. All right, so Euro is doing something totally different than what it was thinking earlier. Now Euro has gone completely backwards in what it was indicating, and it now has it staying strong, not stalling out and moving further to the north with that frontal line. This is why we have to keep an eye on this thing. The models really don't know what's going on. That's totally different from what we saw at 12 Zulu. Let me go back to 12Z, and I'll show you guys. This is 12 Zulu. Look at 12Z. Stalls, moves south, and then disappears before starting to move to the west into the Bahamas. And then we have 18Z. 18Z brings it north. Doesn't really stall it out as much. And then here comes our next tropical wave. It's hard to see it, but it's right there. So this is Wednesday morning. To answer your question, Aurelia, at least according to the Euro, I don't put a lot of faith into this run of the Euro. It's broken continuity pretty dramatically for 18Z, and 18Z didn't get any new analysis data. So for the model to be doing something big like this might not want to be trusted. But it's looking like a Wednesday into Thursday kind of gig. Wednesday, Thursday, possibly squeaking into Friday if this thing slows down. Jalil Seaman, good night. Definitely, get some rest. I know it's late. It's pushing 10 o'clock. This is going to be the last live stream of the day, especially as Barbuda clears out. I believe I saw some updates in the chat, and I do apologize. Latest report from Barbuda. Powers lost 30 minutes ago. 2 shelters are open on the island. Very good. 4 persons in shelters. Hospitals open 24/7. They have 1 fixed emergency line to main sister island. Okay, good. Good. Exo Nation, I'm seeing your comment once again. Unsubscribed. I'm not too sure what happened. YouTube did this weird audit because so many of you guys were subscribing all at once, and I guess YouTube flagged my channel thinking it was spam or bots, which is not the case. Good night, everyone. I'm in Antigua, and we were told that Barbuda is really getting the rough of it right now. Yes, Yuri Peters, you're absolutely right. Should not affect Trinidad? No, not at this point, not anymore. Honestly, there might not be any recent historical data that shows these ocean temps during this time of year. Yeah, that's another thing too, Diva Jefferson. I definitely agree with you. All of our models have been very underestimating the intensity of this storm, and they're still trying to catch up. And I think that does have to do with, like you said, the historical data suggesting that we typically don't see any kind of hurricane activity out there. A lot of our hurricane activity is southwestern Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, and it's still moving. We still have the freight train of waves coming out there like we're in the heart of August or September, which is very bizarre. But let's see. I completely forgot what I was going to look at just now. I thought about it. Oh, let's see what the HAVS models are doing. We have not looked at HAVS yet. So HAVS A does have it moving north and then hooking left towards Bermuda. This is 18 Zulu. What did they have at 12Z? 12Z HAVS has it parking and then moving towards Bermuda. So HAVS models do think that Bermuda could be facing Tammy down the road here. Let me see what HAVS B has to say for us. HAVS B has it stalling, then moving north. HAVS B, see guys, we have such a huge margin of error now. Some of the models want to do this. Some of the models want to do this. So Bermuda, southeast United States, into the lower mid-Atlantic states, North Carolina, Virginia. We got to watch because with that 1030 high, and you know what? Looking at all the model data, with that 1030 high parked up there, it is only going to have one direction to move, and that's west. So once she gets up to the north and that polar high, that really rigid polar high for that matter, parks itself to the north, anybody in the southeast, the Bahamas, Bermuda, it's fair game, or I should say it's open season. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on what happens. If she stays organized and continues to move as she is now, Bermuda could have a problem. There goes the H-Wharf. Yep, H-Wharf is taking it left too. headed towards Bermuda. So I'm putting my faith and allegiance into Bermuda right now. Very interesting that a lot of our ensembles want to take it back towards Florida. It's like she's got it twisted. She's mixed up. I'm going to check my hurricane model to give you an update. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely do that. Any update for Antigua in terms of flooding and rain? Exo Nation, it looks like you guys are okay for the time being. Let me zoom the radar out. A lot of the stuff is just barely starting to make its way into Guadalupe. It looks like there is a little bit of feeder band activity getting ready to move through Antigua. A little bit towards Montserrat as well. St. Kitts and Nevis could possibly see some stuff here very soon. Overnight precip field is trying to expand. It's definitely trying to expand, and then we have some good outflow working its way through the Eastern Caribbean, and that's what's helping to elongate those storms from a north-south fashion to a more southwest-northeast and almost a west-to-east fashion. So that's why we have all this stuff training across St. Lucia, Martinique, and Dominica, getting ready to expand into Guadeloupe here shortly. It looks like St. Lucia is finally out of the woods for significant rainfall. So is St. Vincent. Barbados is still cruise control down there. Nothing crazy going on for you guys. Tammy is definitely confused. 100%. I feel like Florida did something bad to Tammy because it's looking like it wants to hit Florida. It's trying. Hi, does Puerto Rico will be under hurricane? No, Carmen. Puerto Rico's looking okay right now. Hopefully, Tammy does not pull an Andrew. There's no dynamics out there to suggest that she's going to really intensify into something major from this point on. She could either maintain intensity or downgrade to a tropical storm. I don't predict that it's going to continue to really amp up in terms of intensity. If it did, that'd be the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my entire life because the dynamics just don't support it. But yeah, look at that. This is 18Z close-up GFS data. And if you guys see on the left-hand side of the chart here, there's the Bahama Islands and there's the eastern tip of Florida. So GFS thinks a mid-grade tropical storm could be headed towards Florida. So we'll have to... And it's been trending like that, too. It's been on other models as well. There's not a lot of them go as far out as the GFS. Let's take a look at what the Korean model has for us. Korean model, where I'd lost it. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Central America, Caribbean, 10-meter wind, 12 Zulu. Let's see what the 12Z Korean model has for us. What the heck was that? So the Korean model has it going woo, woo, floating back and forth, hitting Bermuda still, unfortunately. And then it looks like the KMA model does want to develop that wave to the south of Jamaica. Take a look at that. And here's another tropical wave working its way through. So the KMA does have two tropical disturbances making its way into the Caribbean. That's a weird depiction with Tammy, though, that's for sure. I don't think that's what's going to unfold. Let's see what the UK Met has for us. Let's take a look at the UK model. UK, here we go. Central America, Caribbean, and let's go with E50 millibar winds. Wow, yeah, look at that, guys. The UK model has it coming towards the Bahamas, towards Florida. Yeah, we just got to keep our eyes open. Euro Spaghetti can't make up their mind. No, yeah, our ensembles are just struggling right now. But that's three models, technically. That's three models. We have the Icon, we have the GFS, and now we have the UK model. A UK model is fairly reliable. I'll tell you the truth. The UK model has a pretty proven track record. And it looks like the UK model has been doing very good in terms of what it thinks that Tammy is going to do. It does have it a little bit further to the west, but yeah, look at that. And then the UK model is also developing something to the south of Jamaica, same time, the 28th. So we might not be out of the woods just yet. Anywhere from Florida to Maine should watch. Honestly, Fumchum, that's kind of what it almost seems like. No, not that far to the north. Not that far up to Maine. No, I'm thinking If you want a realistic estimation, Bermuda definitely needs to be watching. Anywhere from North Carolina down to the Bahamas and Florida should monitor what the remnants of Tammy does. Or, I mean, the UK still has it holding on to some of its intensity here. This is a 12Z UK model. You can see a pretty substantial wind field with this still, upwards of, what is that, about 38, 40 knots? So this is still a mid-grade tropical storm. It is expected to weaken, according to the UK, stall out just to the north of Puerto Rico, and then suddenly boomerang right towards, not Central Florida, but right towards the southeast. What else can we look at? Let's see if we have any new... Or you know what? Let's go to the control mean sea level pressure for the European model. Let's go here. Wow, guys, yeah. I don't know. This is the control member now for the Euro. The Euro has it coming straight at us as a 989 hurricane. What the heck is going on? What did 12Z have for us? 12Z had it stalling out, washing out, and then moving up into the Gulf of Mexico and then backwards. Wow. And then there's our upper low feature towards the back end of the run out there, still getting picked up on the Euro. It's hard to spot. It's a remnant low on the 12Z, but here's Tammy, and what the Euro wants it to do is weaken, track west, and then get picked up by our trough. Blink and you'll miss it because this mean sea level pressure chart doesn't stamp lows if they're too weak, but you can see that very weak bubble of low pressure left over, and then it gets picked up, and you see that? Getting scooped up into the west coast of Florida by our next frontal system. So, you know what? I mean, we can't argue. We definitely can't argue with the models. We just have to continue to watch and see. But 18Z is very interesting. You see it lift up to the north, intensify just a little bit more, and then boomerang, headed straight towards the west. If it continues on that current trajectory, that's the space coast of Florida. So, one last sanity check. Let's go ahead and look at our ensembles for the European model. We're going to take the control member off, and let's go to, I got to change the AOI. Cyclone locations, Epcyclones, Tropical Atlantic, 18 Zulu. Let's see what our 18Z, yeah, look at that. Meshing really well with what the GFS is showing. At 12 Zulu is a little less sporadic, but a number, I mean, you see, we've got a split 50-50 shot. Split 50-50. We have about 50% going this way, 50% going this way. So it's anybody's best guess. What I would say the bottom line is we definitely just have to keep an eye. We definitely have to keep an eye because this thing might have another trick up its sleeve. From Barbuda now, we are batting down in what is full-fledged hurricane. The sustained winds are now 57 miles an hour, 57 knots, gusting up to 77 knots. The rain now falling sideways. Wow. Is this happening right now? Is it not calming down just yet? The winds are just now receding, 21-19 hours. Okay, so that lines up really well with what we saw on radar. So that eye wall core made its way through and it dissipated at 21-19 hours. That is 9:19 p.m. and it's now 22:07 according to my clock here, 10:07 p.m. No, Ethan's life, that won't be an Andrew 2.0. This thing's not going to be a Cat 5, that's for sure. It's not going to be anywhere close to that. It'll take a same, let me rephrase that. It could take a similar track, but it's not going to be anywhere in the realm of an Ian, an Andrew, an Irma, or anything like that. Antigua's okay for now, no rain. Yeah, no, you guys are doing okay down there. It's Barbuda we've been watching out for. I have some home videos showing Barbuda being hammered. I believe it. They took the full brunt of it. Entertainment sport. Tammy is now just barely making her way to the north of Barbuda. Take it back over the radar. We'll refresh and see what we have. So there you have it. There's the landfall. There's the landfall right there. Let me go back to windy. Eye wall is elongating out. Eye wall is expanding. Here's Anguilla right up to the north here. Who else is up there? We got St. Bartholomew, Anguilla. What's the island in the middle? What's the island right here, guys? Is that actually Marigot? I thought that was a city. What will happen to Antigua and Barbuda? Everything is very calm and peaceful. Arletty's, Antigua is doing okay right now. Barbuda definitely just got the hammer brought down on them. The eye wall is finally moving to the north, getting up out of there. It's very hard to tell. I can't really go back in time on this, but it does look like it's trying to move a little bit further to the west. So Anguilla, my folks out here, it's time to start raising your eyebrows a little bit and start watching out. So this one here is St. Martin. Okay, all right. So we have Anguilla, St. Martin, and then we also have St. Bartholomew right in through here. So we have this triad right here that could possibly be on their gun. We have to watch what this storm is going to do. It is trying to take on a westward bias. So I'm going to have to keep a close eye on it. Let me go back to this real quick. Here's our island triad. Here's the storm center, moving to the north there. Dodged a lot of our major islands and then booms over to the west. Yeah, so definitely start being on alert out there, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you for pointing that out. So Anguilla, St. Martin, as well as St. Bartholomew. You guys got to start watching. St. Kitts and Nevis, yeah, St. Kitts and Nevis are okay. The storm is already well to the north of you guys, the northeast. It's not going to retrograde and head back down. You guys are in a quiet spot right now for St. Kitts and Nevis. That triad up there, Anguilla, St. Martin, and St. Bartholomew, you got to start watching. Thanks for looking out for everybody. Wow, thank you, Eric Moneystar. I appreciate that. Ethan, yeah, I do see your donations. They're there. 8 minutes until launch, 10 minutes until launch. I do see them, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. So, yeah, we have to watch and see what happens. Even if this thing continues on its current course, you're probably going to see some impact. I wish this radar would update, because there it goes. Yeah, and we missed the last radar scan of it, and windy doesn't do us very many favors. It's moving too slow to really good idea or get a good representation of where it's going. St. Bart's. I'll remember that. St. Bart's is a little bit easier to say. It's hard to tell if the eye is elongating or if it is starting to favor a more westward track. It's very hard to tell. We were moving this way, so there has been a distinct angle change that put it right into Barbuda. So in the next 2 to 4 hours, we really need to start watching closely out there in Anguilla. St. Bart's, thank you for that little abbreviation, as well as St. Martin. Malachi, yes, go ahead, shoot your question. Liz, you are doing a great job. Thank you very much, Liz. I appreciate that. What do you got, Malachi? I see that you have a question. I'm ready to answer, buddy. Eric Moneystar, I do agree. It does seem like it's trying to favor a bit more of a westward bias. A lot of our models do suggest that this is the point in time where it could jog west. So we're going to have to watch out for all of our folks up there. St. Bart's, St. Martin, Anguilla. Those are my 3 next islands that really need to be paying close attention to this. When will Hurricane Tammy go from the Leeward Islands? Looking like tomorrow. As that system moves to the north, the hurricane itself is going to be out of there, but we might still have flood conditions with those wraparound feeder bands and all this overnight convection that's flaring up. I know that's probably not the answer you're looking for, but you look at the satellite imagery and you can see the core is definitely moving. The core is definitely getting up out of there. And it's definitely taken on, looking at this satellite image, it's definitely taken on a bit more of a west-northwest fashion. So my 3 islands out there, definitely start preparing, not start preparing, but just keep a very close eye out. Antigua, you are definitely going to get more. You have all this thunderstorm activity off to the south. It's been displaced from the center, and it's feeding off of these very weak outflow boundaries that are permeating not only from the storm, but also from not overnight, but earlier afternoon convection flowing to the south. This is exactly what happened with Tropical Storm Philippe. If you guys remember, the center was somewhere up and through here, but we had all that westward propagation or that westward expansion of our thunderstorms. And that's when it gets really bad. That's when the flooding will definitely start to amp up because those systems are just going to park themselves. It's the same situation when we're here in Central Florida and we have the sea breeze kick off. The East Coast and the West Coast sea breezes, they meet in Central Florida and those thunderstorms blow up and they just stay there. And as they collapse and you get those outflows, the cold pools, as the updraft collapses down to the surface, it just helps surrounding moisture rapidly rise into the atmosphere and create more thunderstorms. So they're just going to pop off in the same general area. And that's exactly what it looks like is going on down there right now. We have Guadalupe getting ready to get under the backside of this convection. We have a very, very strong piece of thunderstorm activity headed right for Martinique. So Martinique, get ready for that. If I have viewers in Martinique, you got to watch out. You have some really, really aggressive thunderstorm activity firing just to your west. Same thing with Dominica. You have a little bit of stuff getting ready to pop off to your west. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see these thunderstorms train as we go over the next several hours, or at least the next 4 to 6 hours at best. Let me go 100 hours back so we can see the evolution of this. Yep, you see that, guys? Look at this little boundary out here. You see that? Little boundary is causing these thunderstorms to go from a north-south fashion to a more west-to-east fashion, which is a shame. That's exactly what happened with Philippe that helped induce a lot of the flooding out there. And it is, yeah, Ethan, I definitely see that. That's for sure. That's what's helping to kind of keep these thunderstorms parked in place. So... And not only that, but you guys got to remember, just like with Philippe, our center was here. Now it's all the way up to the north and almost to the northwest of Barbuda. So all that stuff we saw over here to the east has now transitioned a little bit further to the west. So this is when things are really going to go downhill. This is what we've all been emphasizing across YouTube, across different weather platforms. It's the backside. It's always the backside of these systems. It was the same thing with Philippe. Same thing with some of the earlier systems we had earlier this hurricane season. It's the backside of it, all that inflow, all that rear inflow to the backside of the storm is what's driving all these storms in. And this is where you're really going to start to see those flood conditions amp up. The wind threat is not going to be as severe as it was for Barbuda. Barbuda took a direct hit, so they're going to see those 70, 80 mile an hour winds for sure. Well, they did. They saw the winds. The rest of this stuff is definitely going to be more convective wind related. And when I say convective wind related, I mean it's going to be downdraft winds inside the storms mixing with the rotational influence of the hurricane. So you have multiple different dynamics going on all at once. Will there be any more rainfall or thunderstorms tomorrow? For you guys in Barbados, I'm not sure. I'm definitely not sure on that one. It definitely seems like you guys are calming down big time down there. Let me try to zoom out a little bit. Actually, let me go to true color. We'll see it if we go to true color. Yeah, so it looks like there's still a lot of residual activity down there. You can see that there's really good remnant moisture in the atmosphere. So especially as this feature gets a little closer and we get some more thunderstorm activity over South America, you could have some convergent boundaries down at the surface that'll help to ignite some thunderstorms. So Trinidad, Tobago, even Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, all the way down to the south there. Even Grenada could see some thunderstorm activity, albeit leftover thunderstorms, not directly associated with Hurricane Tammy, because the hurricane is well to the north now. Hurricane is well to the north. Looking at this satellite image, it does seem like it's going to barely miss Anguilla, St. Bart's, and St. Martin just to the east. It looks like you guys might be okay. It's going to be a close call. But yeah, you can see it. Look at all these little outflow boundaries right here. There's 1, 2, 3. 3 pronounced outflow boundaries, and that's exactly, those are little convergent wind flow or wind boundaries in the atmosphere that's causing these systems or these thunderstorms to move west. Let me slow down a little bit. I feel like I'm slurring my words because I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize. Jonathan, good night. Thank you so much for tuning in. Monica. Nazaline, is that how you pronounce it? Monica? I've heard everyone say Dominica. Dominica. Ethan, yeah, absolutely. Send me a photo. Is there wind shear to the west of Tammy? Yes, there is. You can see it plain as day. You have a little bit of an upper level feature right there trying to rotate around. So you have Tammy's circulation, and this is a great opportunity to go over to water vapor. Again, water vapor coming in clutch. Let's switch over to the water vapor, and you can see it. A little bit of a tut low right there, instigating all that thunderstorm activity. So we actually have worst case scenario for thunderstorm activity right there, because if you draw the streamlines around that little tut low in the mid-levels right there, pause, what you have going on is you have the rotation around that. I don't know why my pen just got all big. And then you have the rotation here around Tammy, so you have convergent wind flow right in through this area. And that's why we're seeing all those thunderstorms park themselves over interior parts of the Leeward Islands. Like I said, Dominica, as well as Martinique, St. Lucia are definitely getting a lot of that stuff training over top of them. They're just parked there stationary. That makes a lot of sense. Jar 767 makes a lot of sense. I don't know why my pen is so big. I definitely didn't do that. But yeah, there's a tut low out there just out ahead of this thing that's helping to bring in a little bit of wind shear on the western flank. So good call. That was definitely a good call, Eric. You can see it plain as day on the water vapor imagery. It's trying to move just to the south. It's actually moving towards Tammy, it looks like. It started up over the Dominican Republic and then translated down to the southeast and is right here now. It's just to the south of Puerto Rico. So that interaction between that tropical upper tropospheric trough and Tammy is what's creating that huge line of thunderstorm activity. Not good, because we have multiple systems out there that are going to just keep these thunderstorms in place. It's definitely looking like it wants to try to instigate some convective activity over to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands as well, so we can't rule out that possibility overnight, and especially when the sun comes up. Yes, Big Pen, my favorite. Dark Earth, I see what you did there. Yes, Champ, great job, bro. Glenn Mop, yeah, absolutely. What time do you believe that Antigua would see bands of rain because it's real calm right now? You got to give it time, Shamoy. You got to give it time. All this stuff is going to try to work to the north. It should remain predominantly stationary for the time being, especially with that tut low just off to the west right here, slowly meandering towards the backside of Tammy. It could do a couple of different things. Mildredrea, you're not at risk, but I want you guys to keep an eye on it, Mildredrea. Definitely want you to keep an eye on it. It doesn't look like you guys are going to see a direct landfall from the storm based on its current trajectory, but I want you guys up there in my triad, Anguilla, St. Martin, as well as St. Bart's. You guys all got to watch my triple threat islands right here, because you guys are up next. The storm's moving through just to your east, and radar suggests that it's trying to favor a bit more of a westward bias, so we have to keep an eye on it. Dominica, there we go. Now that sounds a lot more reasonable. I've heard so many different iterations of it on YouTube and different videos. Dominica, so it's kind of like in Spanish when you get the little hyphen, or the accent mark. It's more emphasized Dominica, not Dominica. I put a little more emphasis in the beginning. It's more Dominica. Am I saying it right, guys? So Antigua have to still watch out for heavy rains until when? All the rest of the night. I know that sounds very broad-brushed, but definitely all throughout the night. Hey, from Dominica here. We are experiencing some extremely monstrous thunder and lightning. Yeah, it's all that convective activity firing in between Hurricane Tammy and that upper tropospheric trough. That tut low, that upper low that we were just looking at on the water vapor. And for your consent, still seeing a lot of lightning from ST. Yeah, so looking at now, we're starting to get a little more radar data in. It looks like it's going to try to miss St. Martin, St. Bart's, and Anguilla just barely to the east. Let's try to track it out. Here it is. There it is. There, it's moving this way. So yeah, it looks like it's going to try to miss Anguilla, especially just off to the east. But as we just saw right now with Barbuda, if this thing jogs west, we got to watch out. So I need everybody up there over the next few hours to just hunker down and stay in place. Anguilla, St. Martin, yes, Mildredrea, I'm watching you guys closely for sure. It's a long A in the middle, though. Long A in the middle. Mildredrea? Is that how you say it? Dominica. Avril, in St. Martin, we have had on and off rain all evening. Looking forward to more updates for our area. Absolutely, Narissa. Good night, Nazario and Weather Community. Praying for the islands and direct path of Tammy south of Barbados is quiet right now. What's the latest for us later tonight? So Sharon, Barbados is going to be in the clear. You have a lot of residual leftover moisture, but it doesn't like you guys are going to see any of the stuff or the action that Martinique, Dominica, and Guadeloupe are preparing for. A little bit of St. Lucia as well. You had some thunderstorms work their way through there not so long ago. But what stinks, Mildadrea. There we go. I got it. Very good. Glad to hear that. Awesome. Wonderful name, by the way. I'm not going to lie. I've never heard that before. Very nice. But yeah, no. Right now, what's going on is very, very, I'm just going to say it bluntly, very crappy. We'll go back over to water vapor. And as a matter of fact, let me go to a different website. We'll go to, where is my morning Metcon? We'll go to COD. I love this one a lot more. COD Meteorology. All right, so if I put this loop on, we have two different large-scale features out there. We have a tut low, a little breakaway upper trough. That's the dry air you're seeing right there with Tammy. And we have the opposing wind flows on either side of these lows creating a tremendous amount of thunderstorm activity for Martinique, Dominica, and moving into Guadeloupe. Do you think the tail end will come up further into leewards? Yes, Dwight, yes. As that system moves on and propagates north and this upper low tries to move to the west like it has been, there's probably going to be an increase in overall thunderstorm activity. And this was a very good catch, too, because I don't think anyone's really been talking about that upper low that's sitting out there. That's some breakaway energy from this jet here. And that's what's really helping to instigate all this energy. Geez, sounded like, what's his name? Batman for a second. Energy. Where's the trigger? Just kidding. That makes a lot of sense. Yes, Dominica, not Dominica, but love that you pronounce our name correctly. Most Americans say Antigua. However, Dominican Republic, a different local language despite the island's names. Okay, so Dominica, Antigua, Dominica. I'm going to get this right. I promise you guys. This is a great educational lesson for me. I should add a couple more credits to my college degree. Hello from St. Martin, Janice York. Welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks so much, friends. Call me Mild for short. I mean, yeah, I can go with whatever you prefer. Mildadrea. I like that a lot, though. Mild for short. I approve. So, yeah. We have two interacting storm systems out there. Very, very interesting setup. And then look at all this tremendous dry air over the south. And then here, look at how Norma got ripped to shreds. Earlier today, Norma was still a pretty potent hurricane, but look at how Norma out here got destroyed. We have very little left, and all that moisture is getting pulled in across the south. In fact, very interesting, because a lot of this moisture was supposed to surge into the plains. It looks like a lot more of it is going to stay over the Gulf Coast. Very interesting. What is the time frame moving towards Florida? Leba, we got a little while. We definitely have a little while. Because it looks like what's going to happen is we're going to see a bit of a stalling effect right just to the north of our Greater Antilles. And then I'm trying to see exactly what's going to steer her to the west. I'm guessing it's all of this right here. We have a ridge just out ahead of that next trough, that very potent baroclinic system moving towards the west coast of the United States out of the eastern Pacific. Maybe that's what's going to try to plug her and stop her from moving any further to the north and then moving back towards the west. We'll have to see. It's still all way up in the air. Mild. Whoops, my bad. I'm doing my best here, though. Mild star. You're a mild star, not a moderate or severe star? Or I should say a superstar. See what I did there? All right, no, I'm going to stop. Very crappy puns. I'm sorry. Will the disturbance to the back of Tammy pose any threat to the Caribbean? It's looking like it could. Of course, only the GFS wants it to pull north at the last second, but a lot of our other models walk it right through the same general areas being hit by Tammy right now. This goes to show how unpredictable weather can be, yet so interesting. Sharon, that's what I love about it. That's exactly what I love about it. Tashana Spencer, any updates for what to expect in Antigua and when? So right now, you guys are sitting pretty. There's not a whole lot going out there for Antigua, thankfully. We'll switch back over to a close-up perspective so we can get a closer look. But as of right now, you guys are in a bit of a dry spell between very intense convection firing off on the backside of Tammy and this upper low that's working its way slowly to the east, moving towards the Lesser Antilles, as a matter of fact. So you have two opposing low systems. There's a low right there, full of dry air, and then you have this low, i.e. Hurricane Tammy, interacting and colliding with one another. That's why we're having a whole bunch of activity form up across the islands, and it's not going anywhere. I'll highlight it in my yellow here. Let me pause it at the very tail end of the loop right here. Okay, so we have upper low. Let me erase the ink and start from scratch. Thank you. We have upper low right in through here, rotating winds around. We have Tammy rotating winds around like so. And unfortunately, what's happening is we have a convergent boundary right there. So these storms are not going to move. This is where your highest flood potential is currently. Unfortunately, that puts St. Vincent to the northern periphery of that island. St. Vincent, St. Lucia, it looks like Martinique for certain. Dominica, definitely. Guadeloupe is going to be seeing it very soon, too. This is when the overnight flood threat's going to go up through the roof big time. Thank God we had so many storms go out to sea this year due to the fact that the high pressures weren't strong across the Atlantic. I agree. All right, now we've got another pronunciation here. Dominica. So is it Dominica? No, is it... Now my blonde is showing. So is it Dominica? Is it Dominica? Like, how do you guys... I need someone to, like, voice chat me or something like that. Where's my tutor when I need her? She's not in here right now. Lorene Joseph, yeah, definitely. Ethan, thank you very much for... Oh, let me go ahead and check that out real quick. Yeah, no, you're right, Ethan. That's outflow. Definitely outflow. So is it... See, now I have two different pronunciations in here. Interact Dadley Tor says Dominica, and then we have Dominica from Anguilla Peace. Ah, okay, so now we're messing it up. You know what? I'm going to go with Dominica. I like that. Dominica. Dominica. You know, that's what I'm going to say. But anyways, all right, so that's what we have going on. We're going to get ready to close out the live stream for the last time today, guys. I do apologize. I wish I could stay on a little bit longer, but it is 10:30 over here. I'm very grateful that the worst does seem to be out ahead of Barbuda now. Hopefully they can start the recovery process. Yeah, the eye is definitely further to the north now, and it does look like it's trying to move this way. So we could miss a direct hit in Anguilla, St. Martin, and St. Bart's. But you guys definitely got to keep an eye on it because it's headed your direction next. Dominica. Okay, good. Some guy. Thank you. We'll take one last look at the radar image of the GIF here and see if we can get a better idea of where it's tracking. But yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and get ready to call it a night. Austin Freeman, what was your question, dude? I'm sorry. There's a lot of people talking in the chat. The BVI, what about the BVI? Elaborate. What is the BVI? I'm still trying to get up to speed on all the acronyms down here. It looks like it's slowed down, too. It looks like it started to slow down after moving through Barbuda. The best tracker in terms of watching the storm, radar is going to be your best friend. So it's here, and it's starting to move in this general fashion. So we definitely have to watch, especially in Anguilla. St. Bart's as well. Rhonda Jordan, nice chatting with you as well. Thank you very much for coming in tonight. Would St. Kitts and Nevis be experiencing rain and thunderstorms? If yes, when? Not just yet. You still have a little while before it gets up into that area. Once the center can get far enough to the north and start pulling all that convection to the north with it, that's definitely going to be a latter part of the morning. British Virgin Islands. Okay, I've never seen it abbreviated BVI. Okay. British Virgin Islands are looking pretty good right now. Definitely not seeing anything crazy out there, and it won't be for another little while. Let's take a look at the latest forecast track. I don't believe anything is really going to happen out there, though, at least according to last time I had checked. Update. Now, this is the same update from earlier. That's old. Let's come on down here. We'll zoom on in. Yeah, see, so they're thinking that the center is going to... Now, I definitely buy into this. They're thinking that the center is going to pass to the east of you guys. They do have a hurricane warning out. I don't know if we're going to see hurricane conditions if it stays to your east. Antigua can verify that for us. We had the eye pass very close to Antigua, and it didn't really do much of anything for them out there. So hurricane warning in place definitely for Anguilla, St. Bart's, and St. Martin. And then we have that tropical storm watch for the BVI, British Virgin Islands, and U.S. Virgin Islands for that matter. But if it stays this far to the east and continues on its current trajectory that's moving right now, you guys should be okay until that backside moisture comes in. Jar767, I'm a subscribe to you, bro. I like your energy. Stay blessed. Hey, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Dominica. All right. I'm going to have an aneurysm saying that name so much over and over again. Zenful, I'm very glad that you stayed subscribed. I'm surprised a few people who are as routine in here didn't stay subscribed. It's very bizarre. You did a fantastic job trying to keep all our islands informed. Bless you. Have a great night. Stay safe, everyone. Peace out, Sharon. Thank you for your wonderful words. Austin Freeman, of course. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to glaze over your question, dude. I do apologize. Thanks for raising the hand again. I'm in St. Martin. I took a nap before you talked about the system behind Tammy. Can you talk about it soon? Neo plays. So right now we're in a holding pattern with it. We definitely have a few more days until possibly the very back end of this next upcoming week, about the 26th to the 28th, to get ahead of it. I appreciate you, definitely. Jar767, thank you. Have you ever visited the Caribbean? Western and Southern Caribbean, I have. D Square Dixon. I want to get out there again. I wouldn't worry, dude. You're good. Eric Moneystar, thank you. Carlos Dinzy, you're the best. Oh, shucks. I mean, I'm sure there's better folks out there who've been doing it longer than me, but I'm just working hard to try to be the best that I can be. That's what it boils down to. Weather always has you on a learning curve. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to forecast the best. You're never going to, but thank you. I'm going to take the compliment. I really appreciate that. Forgive me for rattling off all that. Thank you. But all right. We're going to get ready to wrap. We're going to get ready to wrap up. And we'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Typically, Sunday is a day where I don't do very much weather-related business. If there's anything big to discuss, I will definitely pop in with another live stream, and I will try to schedule it preemptively to get you guys ahead of the curve in terms of what else to expect. If I can squeeze it in, I may try to do another live stream. It's going to be difficult. Tomorrow's going to be a very busy day. St. Lucia, Paula Henry, St. Lucia's getting those thunderstorms right now. I know that you guys have some very potent energy getting ready to build off to your west. We'll switch back to the infrared satellite. So there's St. Lucia just to the south. We're losing it on the satellite. There's some really potent activity to your west and to your north. Has the storm passed St. Kitts? Yes. Yes, the storm is up to your northeast at this point in St. Kitts. No direct hit to worry about there. Antigua was named after a church in civil Spain, Santa Maria la Antigua. Then the British silenced Antigua, and then the British silenced the U and called it Antigua. Wow, the more you know. Good night here on St. Martin, awaiting the passing of Tammy. May God watch over all of us in the other islands. Cassandra, amen, I say to that. The GFS showing something forming in the Caribbean. Yeah, we've had models off and on, especially the Canadian model, thinking that there's going to be something forming up down there for sure. Mild, definitely. I recommend that you do that. Mild, Adrea. You see, I don't know. I like Mild Adrea a little bit more. Mild doesn't. It's not as exquisite in my opinion, but that's just me. Great job keeping us informed, Paulette. You're very welcome. Anguilla is from the Latin eel, anguilla, but I always tend to call places how the locals call it. What time will it pass over St. Martin? So Jingle Jam Entertainment, that's a mouthful. It's not looking like it's going to pass directly over you guys, thankfully. It looks like it should miss off to the east. We're going to watch it closely. I need you guys to watch it very carefully after we end the live stream here shortly. So, because unfortunately, as much as I would love to be your 24/7 round-the-clock eyes and ears, I wish I just not physically possible right now. For my folks out there, Guadalupe south through St. Lucia, you're going to have training stationary thunderstorms overhead for quite a while. You're going to have those thunderstorms sitting in place, just blowing up in between that upper low to the west and the south side of Hurricane Tammy. So your flood threat is confined between St. Lucia all the way up to Dominica. I almost said it the other way again. Dominica, as well as Guadalupe. So got to watch carefully. Those areas are definitely going to be very flood prone going forward right now. Wind's not picking up in Barbuda. Thank you again, Nazario. You're doing a wonderful job. Congratulations on all your new viewers and subscribers. Thank you very much, Carmen. One of the OGs right there. Carmen, one of my more OG subscribers. Always a joy to have her in the chat with us for our Tropics Talk. Brooke Ward, good night, ma'am. Good night. Have a great evening. God bless you and your little ones and the rest of the family for that matter. Lightning and thunder and lots of rain in Dominica. Phantom proper. Yep, that makes sense. Again, from Guadalupe, Marie Gallant, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, you're going to be underneath a lot of that thunderstorm activity for a while, so I would not be surprised if we start seeing the floodwaters coming up. Unfortunately, it's going to be a necessary evil with this because of the interaction between our two low systems out there. It's creating a colliding boundary that's just forcing the thunderstorms to stay in one spot for an extended period of time. But all right, folks, we're coming up on the hour-and-a-half mark. I've been doing my best all day. I wish I could have been a lot more active throughout the day. I tried to be as interspersed and mixed up with every major update that I could be. We definitely don't do this traditionally on this channel. I try to give an update once a day, every day, except Sunday. But today was definitely a different circumstance. We have this storm rolling through. I wanted to try to jump on here as best I can and talk you guys through it. Keep you updated because I know that there were a lot of other resources out there that were calling for direct hits and very substantial impacts to a lot of areas that didn't see it. And I'm glad that I could help alleviate some of the stress out there and try to give you a cut and dried picture live of what's going on as opposed to just, videos that you could refer back to that were old or have latent data. Not bashing the videos. That's typically how I roll. But I know a lot of you folks out there had a lot of struggle with Philippe, and I figured we're going to do it differently this time and just adapt to the situation. Thanks for your reporting today. Great help, D-Squared Dixon. Very welcome. Is Barbados clear from more bad weather? I agree. You're doing a good job. Thank you, Mardell. Barbados is definitely clear for right now. It's still up in the air if we're going to see some more thunderstorm development as we go through tomorrow with that sun coming up and all that leftover moisture you can see in the cloud cover and especially on the water vapor down to your south, especially closer to Trinidad, Tobago, and Grenada. But to be determined. Right now, for what it looks like overnight, you guys are looking good. This was a great live. You're doing awesome, Nazario. Good night, everyone. Love to all those effective. Dark Earth signing out. Thank you, madam. We'll talk again very soon. Zenful, good night. Peace. Thank you so much for providing all of your zenful positive energy to the chat. Melda Drea, where can we watch that radar you're using? I'll go ahead and put it in the chat for you guys. I did that, I think it was not last night, this morning. Go ahead and send this right there. There's link number 1. And then I will also send you guys to windy.com. Windy is also a great source. All you have to do is find the radar satellite tab and click radar. Avril, good night all. Stay safe all. Have a good night. Thank you very much, Avril. Have a very wonderful evening. Jingle Jammin', you're very welcome. Thank you so much. Empress, you're definitely very, very welcome. You have been great. Thanks from Antigua. Sandra, you're very welcome for that. Dominica, Yuri Peters. Mild, Mildadrea, you're very welcome. I'm digging it. I'm definitely digging the chat, guys. Thank you all for being such wonderful viewers. I honestly wish that we could do like I think there's an option, but I wish that there was a way we could do like a collaborative live stream to where everybody's talking. You know, I mean, it might turn into organized chaos if we have 400. I mean, we had 900 people in here earlier. It might be organized chaos if we had everybody on a mic and a video. But I think that'd be pretty neat to try to explore the possibilities there, or do really small like working groups, little digital meet and greets and discussions with everybody. In fact, I think I might brainstorm trying to facilitate something like that. Regardless of how many viewers we get in here, I think it'd be pretty cool to do some kind of like a digital podcast, or even like just a little seminar to where we can talk to each other and discuss what happened during this event and other events throughout the hurricane season and whatnot. I think that'd be pretty dope. For lack of a better term, I think that'd be pretty awesome. This way we can really bolster and strengthen the community and whatnot. Great job, Nazaria. You're a gem. You are always on point. Thank you, Phantom Proper. I do my very best. I look at it, and I don't want to BS or anything like that. You the man, Nazaria. Mike Murad, thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate you. Good chatting with you as well, that's for sure. Have a blessed night, Martha. You do the very same. Jingle TikTok. Can TikTok do that? That's true. Yeah, you can do the duets, I believe they're called. Antigua's ABS Weather on YouTube is doing an awesome job as well. I've been popping in and out of YouTube. Yeah, we're getting some good coverage. There's definitely a lot of good coverage out there. I haven't seen too many live streams, but we definitely have a lot of folks watching out for you guys, which is wonderful. Most fun I've had watching the weather. Very informative. Thank you. Eloise, thank you. You're so sweet to do all these updates. Nancy, absolutely, guys. It's what I'm here for. It's definitely what I'm here for. I know we started the live stream talking about subscribers and all that, but the only reason I talk subscribers is because the more people I can engage with, the more we can all have these wonderful conversations and discuss weather activity for your neck of the woods and kind of get a feel for everything. And that's why I want to reach as many people as possible, just to not only have fun and make it entertaining discussing all this crazy phenomena that's out there, but at the same time just meeting all of you guys. That's what it's all about. I take the most joy in just talking and getting to meet everybody, learning the different pronunciations, learning some geographical history about the Lesser Antilles, and that's great. You guys are teaching me as we go along this way. It's not just a one-sided, I'm spewing off hot air to you guys. So it's really enlightening. It's awesome. You're always learning in this stuff, and that's what I love. Have a pleasant night. God bless. Priscilla, you as well, ma'am. Yes, champ, great. Good night. Glenn Moffat, have a great night. God bless. Great job. Pleasant night. 767 peeps. Nazaline, of course. Thanks for all you have done. Something is better than nothing. Absolutely, yeah. Give thanks. Bless up. Nyan Warrington, I agree. Good night and stay safe from Antigua. I'm in Antigua. I'd say we got really, really lucky. Unfortunately, our sister island, no, I agree, Edmund, unfortunately. It looks like we're definitely into the weaker side of it now, though, and it looks like it's tracking up this way. So I think Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's, you guys are going to be okay. We have to continue to monitor, though. It's still off to your south, so it's still headed in your general direction. So definitely keep a close eye out. St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, you guys are okay. It's moving away from you. It's not going to turn back around, so you guys are good to go. You just got to wait for that thunderstorm activity to work its way up from the south. Again, I'm going to say it one last time before we wrap up. Guadalupe, you're going to get your turn here very soon. Marie Gallant, if I have anybody out there. Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, you guys are going to have those thunderstorms that we saw on satellite imagery parked over your head for quite some time. You can see it right here. Very good representation of it all. In fact, it looks like even, wow, yeah, St. Vincent had something pop off over top of them as well. So see, this is why I didn't want to, even the Grenadines are definitely seeing a little bit of thunderstorm activity out there. This is why earlier in the day I wanted to focus on that eye wall core, because unfortunately Barbuda definitely took a direct hit. Now we can keep adjusting for all these very volatile feeder bands, because you can see this is evolving fast. It's almost very hard to keep track of them because they're meshing together, and we're having a new band or a line of activity form right over top of St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines moving down towards Grenada. So we have a new area of thunderstorm activity firing right over the top of the island features down there. Well, my computer keeps making noise when the lightning hits, and I'm like, what is that sound? Thank you for the links. All set to keep an eye out for the family down there. Hopefully the flights are open tomorrow. Bated breath. Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. And Milda Drea, if anybody in here wants, I won't be on the live stream, but I always encourage, if you guys have Instagram, reach out to me, Wxcenter, Wxcenter _Nazario. So, Milda Drea, if you want to reach out there and send me a private message, or anybody in this chat that wants to send me a private message, I always respond to the comments. I always respond to all my messages. I will get back to you. I have a number of you great viewers who always reach out to me on a regular basis on Instagram, and I love talking to you guys. I'm always welcome to carry a conversation and give you guys updates. Even if I'm not here on YouTube doing the lives and the other videos, I'm definitely only a click away, and you guys can reach out and ask questions and continue to talk. The only time I may not answer is if I'm busy with church, homework, or I'm laid out in bed. Like I'm going to be here very soon. So you might get a late response from me for tomorrow morning when I get up to go to the gym again. Welcome back, Daniel. From Dominica, Emil Roberts. Prayers for everyone in Pathway. Yes, Carmen, we're almost done. The strongest part of the storm is almost done. We're definitely seeing it work off. And yeah, look at that. The eye wall is losing some of its intensity. It's becoming way more east-loaded again. So yeah, we're looking a little bit better as we go through time for Anguilla, St. Martin, and St. Bart's. St. Kitts and Nevis, definitely looking good. This system's going to keep tracking away from you guys. Antigua, it's going to be a little bit before we get some really good thunderstorm activity out there. Same thing with Montserrat. You're definitely looking okay right now in terms of thunderstorm activity. Guadeloupe, it's only a matter of time. Guadeloupe, Dominica, you're underneath the worst of it right now. You guys are definitely seeing the torrential rains. Same thing with Martinique. St. Vincent, St. Lucia, you have a little bit of thunderstorm activity. Nothing crazy, but I mean, there's some little cells down there. There's definitely some little things flaring up right over top. And what's cool is you can kind of see that it's flaring up right over top the little bit of higher terrain features we have there too. It's being what's called mechanically induced. Very neat when you can spot things like that. Same thing with Grenada down here. You can see it kind of firing over the terrain features. So all that mountainous terrain is acting like a ramp for those air parcels that just go swooping up into the area or the level in the atmosphere that needs to condensate and create those thunderstorm clouds. And we have so much moisture and so much mixing going on in the atmosphere that it's anybody's best guess when these things are going to fire off. Look at that. It looks like we have some activity in Trinidad and Tobago again. Once again, though, Barbados is sitting pretty out there. Yeah, here's that training stream of thunderstorms right in through here, though. So from St. Vincent north up to the southern periphery of Guadeloupe, you guys are going to be under the gun for the potential flooding as you go overnight tonight. And then as that hurricane continues to move off to the north-northwest, that slowly but surely is going to transition with it. It's all also going to depend on what that upper-level low out over the eastern Caribbean does as we go further in time. All right, I'm seeing the chat slowing down, so we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up. The viewers are slowly going down as well. Honestly, guys, at this point, we're back in a holding pattern. Barbuda, very sad to say, our worst fear kind of came true. The eye went right over top, and I was afraid that was going to be the general area that really had to watch the closest. I really hope that for those of you who were watching earlier that may not be with us right now due to the power outages, we're staying in place, sheltered in place. And, at the end of the day, we can't shrug it off because this was a catastrophe. This was a textbook natural disaster. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the positive and say, we're going to bounce back. The worst is over. We still have some rain and some bad weather on the way, but the worst for now is over. Now we just got to go ahead and turn our attention to what's next. And that's why that's the one thing I love about my channel. It gets me in hot water sometimes. It really does. And I'm not bragging at all. I promise I'm not. But I like to be very long-term on my YouTube channel. If you guys have been watching me for a little bit, I like to forecast way out. I like to try to look 5, 7, sometimes 10 days out just to get a rough feel of what the weather is going to be doing. I'm not big on forecasting for the next day or two, especially with big systems like this. It's not going to help at all if you forecast out a day or two, or you simply go off of what the charts are saying and what the current stuff is saying. You got to project that stuff out. And like I said, I get into hot water sometimes because sometimes it seems like I'm hyping or doing something weird, but I just like to have an overall feel of what the environment is doing because it all plays a role one way or shape or form. The upper low out there is going to influence Tammy. Tammy's going to influence our systems upstream. Those systems upstream are going to influence the systems back behind them. And, it's all a chain reaction, a chain of events with the weather pattern. So I'm hearing the little tapping sound. We got a lot of lightning firing off out there. Lots of lightning. So you guys got to be careful with that as well. This is cloud to ground lightning that we're seeing right now too. Very frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and that is a clear indication that that's not necessarily associated with Tammy. Hurricanes and tropical systems are warm core, so you don't see a lot of lightning with our tropical systems. If you look, there really is no lightning happening in the center of circulation of Tammy. All that warm core energy with the hurricane is stopping any what's called charge cloud development. So all this stuff down here is definitely the interaction between our cold pocket rotating out through here and then the backside moisture associated with Tammy. So we got to watch out for that. Unfortunately, we're getting the worst of both worlds. Pardon me. Paula Henry, yes, you will. You definitely will. It's going to take a little time to get up there, though. Right now we have the interaction going on between these two cyclones, and it's going to take a little bit to meander up towards your neck of the woods. Della Constant, they had you on the local radio station? Really? Is that so? Wow. Wow, okay. A local radio station. Look at that. Very, very good. That's amazing. That's a wonderful thing. I like that. I like that a lot. Like, comment, subscribe to the pit. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm playing, guys. I'm not gonna advertise that right now. I'm just messing around. Brought to you by Wxcenter Nazario, where we talk weather and have fun collaborating in the chat on a regular. There we go. I'm butchering my own joke. Okay, 1 hour and 42 minutes into the stream, guys. We're going to go ahead and cut it short. I know I'm very bad with these outros on live. I get distracted by the questions. If you have any additional questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section of this live stream or reach me, getting tongue-tied. Reach out to me on Instagram, please. I will always get back to you. I make it an absolute priority to contact everybody who leaves a comment. I absolutely work hard to get back to everybody who does have questions, whether it be on Instagram or on YouTube or anywhere for that matter. I will make sure to get back to you and address what it is you have questions on unless I am fully knocked out and fast asleep. Unfortunately, I can't respond. It's not my fault. I'm resting, so if I could do it in my sleep, I would. I'd be up here all night talking to you guys as I'm asleep. But ladies and gentlemen, please be safe out there. I'm going to echo it one last time so you guys have this in the live stream recording. Guadeloupe, your time is coming for the bad thunderstorms to the south. Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we are seeing a little bit in Grenada starting to pop off right now, so you guys are going to see persistent thunderstorm activity as we go all the way through the nighttime hours tonight into tomorrow before sunrise comes up. We need to find out what is really going on in Barbuda. So I agree, Avril. I agree with that. We got to figure out how bad it is out there so we can start the recovery process. That's the big thing right now. As soon as these storms hit and get up out of there, you got to immediately jump into a The heck was that? I heard this weird sound on this side. We got to jump right into recovery efforts and get back in full swing again. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we may see you tomorrow. If I see anything pressing that needs to be communicated to you guys, I will definitely try to make the time to jump on another live stream. May not do a full Weather Center segment again until Monday, but we'll see. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out one way or another. I have a lot to do tomorrow as well, but I always make it happen. I always make it happen one way or another for you guys. Dominica having the thunderstorms right now. Yep, it's definitely settling in over you guys. I have the live radar pulled up. It's going to be settling over this general region for quite a while. All those thunderstorms are just going to train through, and they're not going anywhere. That's the problem. Just waiting for the timings and implications of the feeder bands in Antigua. We lost the main restaurant bar complex in English Harbor in Antigua from a fire. Oh, gosh. Okay, Giles. It's very tough to tell exactly what the timing is going to be. I wish I can give you a more definitive time frame. It looks like there's a very weak wraparound appendage trying to move through your area just to the south of where the center is on Tammy. But a lot of this stuff is going to stay parked down to your south for at least a few more hours. It looks like it could be another maybe 4 to 6 hours unless we see some more development of the thunderstorms expanding to the north. So it's honestly going to be difficult. That's why earlier today I wanted to emphasize where that center is going, because it's not going to vanish and then reappear somewhere else. These outflow boundaries, the feeder bands, and all this thunderstorm interaction that we're getting between that upper low cold pocket, or cool pocket, I'll say, and Hurricane Tammy, they're going to be all over the place. They're going to bounce around. So you guys are going to have to keep those radar links that I sent you close to you if you can. And just from here on out, it's going to be the rainfall. You guys got to watch out for the rainfall and the elevated convective winds within the thunderstorms. But the rainfall and the flood threat is going to go up here on out. We're slowly climbing that ascension right now. The flood threat is already amping up. We saw it in Barbados earlier today. And with these thunderstorms not really getting up out of there, especially over Dominica and Martinique, Dominica, that's going to be problematic. That's going to get problematic overnight. God bless you for your great work. TJ, thank you very much for that. Oh, I see from Philippe. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much for your time and efforts. Jason, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, sir. All right, folks, leave me the comments or leave me any comments that you have. Please share this live stream. Share all the live streams from today if you want. The whole purpose of these lives is to try to provide as up-to-date information. This way I don't have my video lagging behind what's currently taking place. Barbuda, the worst looks to be over. If you guys are tuning in after the fact, just know that all of us in the chat tonight, we're definitely rooting for you guys. We were all in your corner, waiting for the bell to ring. It was a long 3-minute round in there with Hurricane Tammy, but we're here in your corner. The cut man is definitely ready to rock and suture up some of those blisters and splitting skin that you took from the direct hit from Hurricane Tammy. But just know you have a lot of us in your corner for my folks out there in Barbuda. Everybody else, stay sheltered in place. Watch these feeder bands. Use those radar tools as best you can, if you can. One last time, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia. A little bit of orographic thunderstorm activity in St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada. You just got to watch out. Watch out for all that southerly flow out there, or all the storms on the south side of the system, pardon me. The south side with these storms, I've noticed, has always been the worst. Will you be talking about the other systems that is approaching the Caribbean? Yes, earlier today, Phantom Proper, if you want to look at my earlier live streams, we covered a little bit more in-depth with those videos, and even earlier into this segment, or into this live stream, I broke down what we're seeing in our 18Z model data and our ensembles. Definitely a lot to pay attention to. Actually, you know what? I know I'm, again, stretching out the live stream, but let me go ahead and let's see what our 0Z icon looks like. Here we go. All right, we have 36 hour, the 0Z icon. Icon definitely looks like it has it slowing down just barely to the north of Puerto Rico. So, yeah, guys, my best word of advice right now, reach out to me either in the comments or on my Instagram, social media. I'm going to be up for a little bit longer, probably watching as this latest run of the model data comes in, and probably share some updates if I see anything pressing on Instagram. In the meantime, though, we're going to hop off the live stream officially this time. Lots of rain in the community of Warner. Appreciate you for keeping up updated. Brethren Maestro, very welcome. But yeah, Phantom Proper, to answer your question, please refer back to the earlier portions of this live stream and the one from earlier this afternoon, because we definitely went very in-depth with all the different probabilities were out there. And my AOR has expanded once again. I'm looking at the entire Caribbean, the Southeast United States, and Bermuda for the future of Tammy, and then what's to come as those tropical waves work closer and closer to you guys in the Lesser Antilles, and the Bahamas as well. I'm watching for the Bahamas too, because the UK, Icon, and the GFS have it moving right through the Bahamas, so we could see some stuff out there for the Bahama Islands out there. So yeah. No, Giles, not days. No, you have hours, buddy. At the max, maybe 6 to 8 hours until those bands start working their way through, but definitely not days. Not days. No, the storm's backside is definitely pulling in, and you're going to see those thunderstorm chances really continue to elevate big time. Who's this? Oh. You did a marvelous job, sir. Thank you very much. Anguilla is so dry. Yeah, it's going to try to move east of you guys, but I still need you to keep I need you to keep paying close attention to it. God bless you and your viewers. See you next time. This is Carmen signing out. Carmen, I salute thee. I agree with Merle. Now, there we go. There's another name I got to work on pronouncing. Is it Merle? Merle? How do you say that one? I don't want to butcher it. If they're still here, I see the message was retracted. Like up the video. Yes, entertainment, sport. You're absolutely right. You have done a marvelous job, sir. Thank you very much. How do you say your name? I want to make sure I'm saying it right. I feel bad. I see it as Merle, but I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce it. I've been back and forth dorking up names of the islands and different things like that all evening. So I've been educated as well. I've come out of this live stream a little more enlightened. Thank you very much. That's what I figured. Merle from The Walking Dead, basically. But, yeah, guys. Tammy Center is going to keep moving to the north. We got to watch out for what's on the backside, and we also have to watch out for what's upstream of her at this time. Again, please reach out to my Instagram, leave me some comments, and I will definitely get back to you guys as soon as I can. But thank you all very, very kindly for tuning in tonight. Thank you all for staying close to your digital platform so you can tune in. You are so passionate to what you do. God bless you, sir. Ava, thank you. I've always loved weather. I've loved weather with a passion and a heart on my sleeve since I was, no kidding, 4 or 5 years old. And it's a gift from God, I believe, that I have the education and the knowledge to be able to talk to as many people as I do and try to get you guys up to speed on it as well. Because at the end of the day, I mean, weather is very exciting. It's fantastic sometimes what weather in the atmosphere can do. But because of how intense the atmosphere can behave, it's also about safety. Safety is a huge priority. Safety has been the priority for a lot of us meteorologists and a lot of us analysts out there. That's truly the name of the game. That's why we're in a job, is for the safety of you viewers. So that's really what it boils down to. Steven, I've seen a lot of different numbers tossed around. I've seen 10, 12, 14 inches. I'm still thinking somewhere in the realm of 6 inches is going to be my happy medium. The areas where we're seeing those thunderstorms train overhead are definitely a little bit more prone to flooding and higher accumulation, especially if those storms don't lose a little bit of their energy. But I'm thinking 6 inches to some of our areas more afflicted by the center of the storm and more afflicted by all that stuff that's brewing up over the central, leeward, and windward islands. You've been doing great. Mildadrea, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you. Thanks much for the live update. You bet, Giselle, you bet. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, okay? I know I repeat myself. I'm like my dad sometimes. You can tell I'm getting older. I'm picking up more of my father. My dad likes to repeat himself 5, 6, 7 times before he finally says goodbye, and I'm definitely doing the same thing. I wonder if he's watching right now, because they watch my live streams too from out in Arizona. But yeah, guys, God bless. Stay safe. We're almost done with this, and then we can really, really shift gears and start talking about what's going on in the rest of the tropics and what's to come in the near-distant future, because I think El Nino is also going to throw some surprises our way too. We've already had a number of surprises this hurricane season out in the tropical Atlantic and even in the southeast. So it remains to be seen, but you can guarantee that Wxcenter Nazario is going to be on top of it every step of the way. That is one thing I will never let you down on. I will see that stuff coming 1,000 miles away, and I'm going to relay it to you first. I can promise you that from the bottom of my heart, because I love looking at long-range forecasts. I love forecasting. I love hypotheses. I love speculating. I'm going to talk all about it, and I'll talk all possibilities, unbiased, as professional as I possibly can to the best of my ability. So I'll definitely keep you posted, and I can sincerely say that with the utmost certainty. Please leave me a comment, any questions you may have. You have my Instagram in the chat. Leave me a message. Even if you just want to say hello, I'm more than willing to carry a conversation and get to know you guys, talk a little bit more as I can, and just be an entity, be a friend. Definitely to help you guys out. But we're going to go ahead and cut it off before I say goodnight another like 10 times. Maddie, do you think the Tammy could be a threat to the United States? I do. Whether it be a remnant low or something more, we definitely have to keep watching. Bermuda, first. Southeast, mid-Atlantic states, second, unless a front comes and picks her up. I'm really not liking the trends that it's moving to the west. I'm seeing a lot more model data suggest it's going to move west, and our ensembles are up in arms that it's going to do that. It's going to definitely move west. So there's still a lot of time we're going to spend with Tammy. Once it's out of you guys in the Lesser Antilles, it's not over. It's not going to be over until the fat lady Tammy sings, and I think she's going to spend her time really getting her vocal cords ready. So we're going to talk all about it. I'll keep you guys up to date, and I know a lot of other weather platforms out there are going to be doing the same. So thank you all for watching. Again, questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the chat, or not leave them in the chat, leave them in my comments section. Tag me, mention me, reach out to me on Instagram, and I'll definitely get back to you as early as I can. All right, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Thank you all for what you do and all the kind and generous support that you've given this channel. I made this channel on a limb, and I'm so humbly proud to have met and gotten to interact with all you guys. It's awesome. It really is so fulfilling. It's so much fun, and it's so inspiring for me to keep doing this because of all you guys. So yeah, it goes without saying, you guys are definitely leaving your mark on me. You're educating me about the Lesser Antilles. You're educating me about pronunciation. You're telling me more about the isms and the ins and outs of your names. All great stuff. So wholesome. So I really thank you guys for that. We'll see you again soon. Be safe, guys. This is Wxcenter Nazario, signing out.